Okay, we're going to talk about Module 3 live lesson. We just reviewed that all of our work for all of our Lead virtual classes is due on December 19th at 4 p.m. Okay, we have about 3 weeks left. I want to make sure you guys are stay on pace in all of your classes. All right. So today we're going to talk about Module 3 live lesson for 7th grade. Please have your lessons pulled up for Module 3, have your notes ready, and your narrative ready. Okay, and reminder of those who are chatting, make sure we stay appropriate and focused. So we're going to talk about Module 3. Okay, before we get started on what to do this week, let's talk about last week. Last week was a short week. Okay, not everyone may be done. Hopefully you're all on pace. But from last week, 3.02 was due. 3.01 and 3.02 were due. 3.01 was a quiz. 3.02 was organize your narrative. So you had to do a graphic organizer for 3.02. I made a graphic organizer. It is on the pace chart from last week. You just need to make a copy of it and fill it out. Okay? Your assignment will be to read the story prompt, and now you'll become the author and write a narrative based on the prompt. I just noticed something, guys. This is the wrong prompt for you. So just ignore that one. Tell me, what was the prompt that you were given? So what was the prompt that you were given to base your story on? Yeah, it cuts in and out, Savannah, if you need to log out and log back in. Okay, I had that happen last live lesson, so I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, Hunter, good, the circus. What was the prompt that you were given? What about the circus? Dan, Clark, and Kit, good. Those were characters. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Okay. It starts with a circus coming to town. It gives the notice of the circus coming to town. Okay. The author provides colorful description of the growing excitement in the upcoming circus. As the passage ends, two boys read a notice listing a variety of attractions. Write an original narrative featuring the two boys as characters and the circus as your setting. Be sure to use details from the text as you tell your story. And the two boys are Dan, Clark, and Kit. Okay? So your setting is the Great American Circus, and your characters are Dan and Kit. Okay? And you needed to do a graphic organizer based on that for 3.02. All right. No, Fino, December. Segment is due in December. All right. Okay. So last week was the organizer. If you have not done the graphic organizer, please make sure that you go and do that today. Okay? Okay, guys, stay focused on what we're doing. All right. So now do this week. So this week it gets a little crazy because I exempted some things. So do this week, and we're going to go over this. This is just a little bit of a small preview, and then I'll go into more detail on it. Okay, so just look at your page chart, follow along. I want to make sure everybody's very clear on this. So 3.03, begin your narrative. That assignment is exempt. You still need to read the lesson. You'll turn in your introduction with 3.05, the middle, as one assignment. Okay? So 303 is exempt. 304 is exempt. That's a quiz. You still need to read the lessons for 303 and 304. And then for 305, you are going to turn in the introduction and the body of the paragraph, or the body of the narrative. So what you're turning in this week for 305 is your introduction and the body of the narrative. Okay? You still need to read 303, 304, and 305 and take your notes. And I'll go into more detail on what those lessons are about. But know that what you're turning in is 3.05, the introduction, and the body of your narrative. All right. Give me, who's got a question? Write your questions. I see Fino raising his hand. Put your question. Yes, that's fine, Fino. Okay. And then who else? Questions. Give me a thumbs up if you understand what you're turning in. And I know I've said it 1,000 times, but I'm trying to make sure everybody's clear. 303 you're reading, 304 you're reading, 305 you're reading. You're only turning in 305, the introduction and the body. All right? If I could sing, I'd sing you a song about it, but I can't. So, okay, so let's start. 3.03. Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate it. Begin your narrative. An awesome introduction must have the who, when, and where of the story. In other words, it must include the protagonist and the setting. It's okay, Anthony. We'll go over it as we go. We're picking up on 3.03, so you can hang out if you have questions, okay? Anybody else who joins us too. So 3.03, who, when, and where of the story. So this is your introduction. Again, you must read 3.03. But this is just a small little review of what you should be doing for 3.03. So in an introduction to a narrative, this is not an essay. You're writing a short story. So you're starting with the circus, okay, and Kit and Dan are your characters. So you have the setting and the characters. What you can do from that point on, the only limit is your imagination. So the story prompt starts you with the setting and the characters, and then you get to write the rest of it. It is not an essay. It's a narrative short story. Okay? So your introduction, this is what you want to include. The setting is described. Okay? They gave you some parts of the story of the setting. You can add more. And you want to introduce Dan and Kit, the two main characters. Now, the story prompt did not tell us a lot about those characters, so use your imagination, okay? And you want to hook your reader with a vivid description or an interesting quote. Interesting quote, you could do dialogue, you could do a quote from someone, or a vivid description. Again, the only limit is your imagination. You do need to start off with the setting of the circus and Dan and Kit as the main characters. Okay? Questions? All right, so this is the assignment for 3.03. Now, you don't need to turn this in for 3.03. Where are you going to turn the introduction in at? So where do you turn the introduction in? If you're not turning in for 3.03, you turn it in for 3.05. Yay! Good job, Joey. Good job, Colin. Good. But this is what you need to have in 3.05. So this is what needs to go in the introduction. You need to use the idea from your narrative organizational chart, 3.02. Write the introduction, okay? And I took this right from the assignment. So if you look at the assignment of 3.03, it gives the story, okay? The story start for the circus. The introduction needs to be 75 words or more. Notice I'm not telling you one paragraph or two paragraphs. It's a word count thing because it is a narrative writing, all right? And you want to include description of setting, introduction to main characters, and use a vivid description or an interesting quote, all right? Remember, this is fictional. All right, thumbs up if you're good with that. And you know you're turning that in for 305. Remember, if you have questions, guys, you can hang out, you can call me, you can email me, you can text me. I'm here to help. They could be unicorns, Kira. That's totally fine. As long as you do what you need to for it, you can add some unicorns. Okay, so 3.04 is exempt, but I still want you to read the lesson. But I wanted to review it. Okay, stay focused, Fino. So effective dialogue, and this is a review because you have gone over this in the past. So dialogue, what it does is it enhances the story and develops the character. It moves the story forward, the plot of the story forward. Don't have them talk about the weather unless the weather is relevant to the story. Right? If it rains and pours and the circus is ruined, then dialogue about the rain would be effective. If it doesn't affect the story, don't include it. Okay? The rules for dialogue: a new speaker equals a new paragraph. Quotation marks around the speaker's exact words and punctuations. Spoken words are capitalized and punctuated as normal. Okay? You guys hopefully know how to write dialogue. I still want you to read the lesson. Okay? What I really want you to remember is that a new speaker equals a new paragraph. So anytime a new person is speaking, you need to indent and make a new paragraph. So here's a really good example. Here's your example. Tia's eyes were wide as she exclaimed, "Wow, I can't wait for the sequel." Oh, we got a new person talking, so we have to have a new paragraph. Chandra shrugged. The kid next to me was texting the whole time. Another new speaker, we have to have a new paragraph. Sylvie looked at him with sympathy. That's annoying. Why didn't you ask her to stop? All right. Anytime a new speaker, it equals a new paragraph. All right. Very important. If you get stuck, guys, look at a short story, look at a novel, look at this lesson. All right. Awesome. Okay, stay focused, all right, Joey? So, body language. Again, this one is what you're turning in, your introduction and the body paragraph. Right? So the body of a narrative should have your rising action, which introduces and increases the action. Your climax, a protagonist makes decision or takes action to solve a problem. The climax, that's the high point of action in the story. Okay, so in your body, you want to have the rising action and the climax, and you want to make readers feel like they're part of a story, and how you do that is with sensory description. Use your 5 senses, and dialogue. Remember, dialogue moves the story forward and lets us know about the characters. Okay. This should be a review. You guys should be pretty familiar with this. Make sure that you have at least 2 instances of rising action before you have your climax. So when you turn this in, I want you to make sure that you're turning in the introduction, your rising action, and your climax. Okay, Joey, what's your question? You can put it in. All right, well, Joey's writing his question. What I want you, Joey, go ahead and ask your question. Okay, you're going to write third person on this, okay, Joey? So this is third person. All right. So you want to include, for 3.05, include your introduction paragraph with your body. See the assignment for 3.03, because you're not turning that in for 3.03, you're turning it in for 3.05. Using ideas from your chart, 3.02, write the narrative. Be sure to include 2 sensory descriptions: dialogue, 2 events of rising action, and a climax event. And here's an important thing. Your body paragraph needs to be 300 words or more. How many words was your introduction? How many words did your introduction need to be? Who remembers? 75. Good job, guys. Thumbs up. Okay, so you have, when you turn this in, you have at least 370 words. 375 words, excuse me. 75 for your introduction, 300 for the body. All right, who's got questions? Okay, Johnny. It is very specific. And Connor, that brings me up a really good point. You can go beyond this. Okay, Joey, put your question in if you have one. So the minimum is 300 for the body, 75 for the introduction. You can go beyond. But please don't give me like 20 pages, you guys, okay? All right. Anthony, question? Are you guys just playing with the question mark thing? All right. Module 3 is fun. Don't make it 200 pages long, Kira. Okay. Yes, Anthony, it's on the assignment description. I got it from there as a review, okay? And Anthony, let me finish this up, and then I'll go over the page chart with you for this week since you came in a little late, okay? So, due next week. So this is last week, this is next week. You have pause for commas, a quiz. Time for transition is exempt. Let's wrap it up, that's your conclusion, okay, in 3.08. And then believe it or not, next week is a DBA week already. Because you have 2 things due next week, I'm not having the DBA until next Thursday at 11. Right? So next week is a busy week. DBA is not going to be Monday, it's going to be Thursday at 11. It was quick, Connor. It was a lot to do with the hurricane. So we're going quick on this. If you're in the flow of writing and you just want to write the conclusion this week, look at 3.08 and do your conclusion. You can work ahead. All right. This is a quick module. And the live lesson was quick, yes, too. I must have had too much caffeine today, Ashley. I'm sorry if I went quick. All right. Questions. I'm going to go. Who's got questions?